Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coffee and Sports in the Morning. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan, for the next few days. Let me see if I can fix this real fast. There we go. We got it fixed. We got it fixed. All right, everybody. We had a huge night in the NBA last night. Had a couple of excellent performances. We're gonna get into all that. Got a lot of NFL news. Gonna talk a little bit about baseball. Let me go ahead and bring in my co-host. He's my brother from another mother. Mo Better. What's up, man?
Hey, good morning, Will. Good morning, everybody out there joining us.
How you doing today? You feeling pretty good?
I'm doing great. It's a wonderful Wednesday, ready to get into it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We had a couple of awesome performances last night. Um, I'm still in shock. Joker showed out last night with 61 and a loss to the Timberwolves. Did you check that game out and what were your thoughts?
I did watch the game. It was a point in the game where I thought the Timberwolves were just going to pull away and blow them out, but Joker wouldn't let it. He wouldn't let it happen. Like
Mm.
it wasn't just that he had 61. Will it was a 61-point triple double.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, just just one of the most dominant offensive performances I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of great offensive performances. But this just goes to show you just how skilled a player Nikola Jokic is. He's an
Yes, he is.
amazing player. And so it's funny because I don't view the Nuggets will as a championship contender,
Neither.
but I think because of him, just because of his greatness, you can say they have a chance
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he can be that great. Yeah, it was an amazing performance. Like I said, I've seen a lot of great performances. You put up a number like 61, you might say 61 and 12 rebounding wise, but to go triple double and to just be that dominant all the way around offensively, amazing.
Well, I played 2K. Well, you can watch my man Joker play. Oh
He
my goodness, he got down.
he,
He got down.
he
Good
is
morning.
2K, right? He
There
is
he
2K.
is. There he is. Good morning, Key. How you doing today? How you doing? How you doing? Um, Thank you for coming out to the stream. Yeah, that was just an amazing performance, and you got to give the Nuggets a puncher's chance. They do have experience. The thing they just lacked is that bench depth. That's the thing that's going to end up hurting them.
I think the bench depth is going to hurt them. I think also because they're not a good defensive team, that's going to hurt
No,
them.
no.
I believe they're ranked like 22nd defensively. That's they don't score enough to be that bad defensively to make a championship run.
Mm-mm. I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. We also had another huge performance last night. Steph Curry, 52 points. Sheesh, man. That you can't tell me he ain't the greatest shooter of all time. You can't tell me that.
No, you can't. But I feel like why do we have to tell teams that Steph Curry's a really good scorer? Like why like I'm sure that they come into the game knowing like, well, it's Steph and we know where he can pull from. And yet the way they defended him is almost like they forgot who Steph was. Look, just a great shooting performance. It's amazing to watch some of these transcendent players late in their career still be able to put on performances like this to wow the fans and remind us just how great they are. I
Mm.
love it that guys now and look to kudos to the commissioners and all those that did change the league for the better in terms of making it more appealing visually to fans. But it also helped the players out. I think it's not just the way they eat now or how they train. I think the game because it's different. Guys are playing longer.
Yes.
Like there was a time when guys were when they were in their early 30s, they were done. They were done. And now you're seeing guys in year 15, 16, and 17 will, and they're still playing at a superstar level. So I think that's great.
My day is ruined. The Knicks get another win, 105 to 91. My day is just my night was just completely ruined by that. Quentin Grimes, he still ain't got the message. Yeah, they lost, but he still ain't got the message because he balled last night. He had 26. Um, Mitchell Robinson had a double double, 14-14. Um, Look, I know the standings have changed somewhat, but I believe it's the Knicks and the Pacers if they meet up in the playoffs right now, if memory serves. You see the Knicks getting past the Pacers?
I think right now today it's because it's changing. It's forever fluctuating.
Yeah.
Right now it's Pacers Pistons,
Okay.
because the Pistons has leapfrog the Bucks. They're the 5th seed now, so you get a 4-5 matchup, Pacers Pistons. But I feel you on the Knicks. This is what I'll say about the Knicks. Maybe the best matchup for them in the first round would be the Bucks.
Yeah.
That might be a more favorable matchup. I think New York knows what Giannis brings to the table. If you wall off Giannis,
What's up, G?
and you make him more of a perimeter player and less of a get downhill kind of player, it changes everything that Milwaukee does. So I think if you're the Knicks, you're not trying to lose,
No.
but you're trying to stay. They're going to be in 3rd. The question is who's going to be in 6th, because that could go back and forth. I think Detroit's playing better basketball, and obviously without Dame, the Bucks are kind of hamstrung. So I think that's going to be the matchup. I think it's going to be Knicks, Bucks, Pacers, Detroit.
What's up, Gene? Appreciate you coming through, man. I know you're on vacation doing your thing. Appreciate you coming through. It's the Sixers, of course they will win. Look, they good against the Sisters of the Poor. It's just the top teams that the Knicks suck against.
Yeah. Against teams with winning records, especially the better teams, they struggle. But I think that goes to the point that the better teams recognize the true strengths of the Knicks and their shortcomings. And their shortcomings are that they're so reliant on Jalen Brunson. And I don't think their offense is as diverse as it should be, because I think people don't appreciate that OG can actually score. Bridges can actually score.
Yep.
They don't move the ball that way. The ball it goes stagnant, and too many times it stays in Brunson's hands the whole 24 seconds. So I think that Tibbs' problem is he's always been guard heavy. You can go back to with D Rose. It's just what he does. He puts the ball into somebody's hands, and he wants the ball always in their hands. They don't really move the basketball, and they should, especially when you've got a big like Towns that should give you floor spacing and relief from pressure with his shooting ability. They just don't do that enough.
I still say, and I don't care. I hate the Knicks. I can't stand the Knicks. I don't care what anybody tells me. Karl Anthony's softest player in the NBA. I don't care what anybody tells me. Softest player in the NBA. What did you say, Gene? Oh, Gene said vacation is next week. He's getting ready this week. I got you, brother. I got you.
So he's gearing up for vacation.
He's gearing up for vacation. There you go. I'm on a little vacation now to the 9th, so I'm good to go. Let's go on the rest of this. We got the Bucks getting a win last night against the Suns, 133-123. Greek Freak still being Greek Freak. Got a double last night. With Dame being gone, are they going to be another out in the first round again?
Look, the question is, if you're Bucks management or even the Bucks fan base, with Dame back, with Giannis, are they going to be a first round exit? Because that's not impossible. That wouldn't be a stunning development. I think if they get knocked out in the first round, that puts a lot of pressure on the front office, because your superstar player, your foundational player, there's no way Giannis is just going to go, well, we got knocked out in the first round, we'll come back better, stronger, and all those kind of things. I think he's going to start being a little bit more vocal about
to the front office again.
Right. He's going to be a little bit more vocal about what he wants, and what he would like to happen. Now, he can want a lot of things. The Bucks don't have a lot of assets. So you can go, well, why don't you go out and get Kevin Durant or something like that? That's easier said than done.
You really want to come to the Bucks?
Well, it's Milwaukee, so let's start there. That's tough. That's a tough sell for a lot of brothers.
Yeah.
But I'm just making a point that what assets would you have to bring back a Kevin Durant?
Right.
And they don't really have that. So they're one of those tough small market teams that they have to build from within. They have to build through the draft and make smart free agent picks. Look, their biggest move in years as far as a trade was getting Dame. Yep. And they gave up a substantial amount to get Damian Lillard.
Yep.
And so I think you have to ride out the Dame Giannis partnership. Maybe you can put some more supplemental pieces around them. What they don't have is they don't have a third option.
No.
They thought by moving out Middleton and bringing in Kuzma, that would be a third option. Kuzma's not a consistent enough player to be a third option. If you're a title contender, Kuzma's your fourth or fifth option.
I'm still shocked. I'm not saying I'm shocked that Kuzma's in the league. I'm just shocked that Milwaukee put him in that position to even try to be a third scorer. He's never really shown that. He showed it a few times with the Wizards, but it wasn't anything consistent.
Right. And by the way, bringing Kuzma to the Wizards to be a sidekick to Jordan Poole, that's such a Wizards move. Like in their front office, in their, you know what I mean? Like they actually sat down on the chalkboard and said, if we get Poole and put him with Kyle Kuzma, we get a big two. Like they believe that was the mindset. And those are two guys who are good players, but they should never be in the position of being your one and your two, right?
They're not disciplined.
Right. Well, and they're not that good to be your one or your two.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like Jordan Poole, what he was great at was being the first guy off the bench for the Warriors, being a six man, being an instant offense. The responsibility of being a number one player, you better be a superstar. Let's start there. Yeah. And he was never that. To be a number two, you got to be at least an all-star, and Kuzma was never that. So that was a Wizards move. The Bucks move was trading Middleton because he's aging and more injury prone. They viewed Kuzma as an upgrade because of his youth. He is younger, but he's not that much younger. Like Kyle Kuzma's not. He's not 25, 26. I believe he's 30.
So he's 30, 31.
Right. He's not that much younger. He's just healthier, but he wasn't an upgrade as a player. Right. And that's the problem. They needed an upgrade as a player, and they didn't get that.
Agreed. For the Suns, we got Devin Booker with 39 and 11. 36 and 39 and 11. I do apologize. Great game for Devin Booker, but it's meaningless because you got to take the loss. You got to take the loss.
We talk about frustrated players. Devin Booker's been he's been a really good player in terms of how he's handled all the different changes, but he's got to look at his franchise now. What's the path forward, right?
Yeah.
Because we know now that we're going to part ways with KD. What is the path forward, and what's that look like for me? Because Book's a great player, but Book's 29 or 30. It's not. I don't think Book's going to sign up for a rebuild. He's heading into his prime. He'd probably want to be somewhere where he can contend. I think if you're going to move Kevin Durant, and you can't move Bradley Beal, your only other viable asset that has great value, it actually has the most value because of his age, is Devin Booker.
Yeah. I'm not taking Bradley Beal in that contract. No.
Right.
No.
Right.
I'm not taking that. No. Now, Mo, you got to tell me how the Portland Trail Blazers is going to get a win last night against the Hawks.
You know what? Portland they don't have they have a lot of young players, but I'll give Chauncey Billups this much credit. They play hard every night. They play hard for him every night. The Blazers beat the Lakers not too long ago. They're if nothing else, they compete night in and night out. And you can see where they have some good young players that are continuing to develop. I think when you look at somebody like Simons, though, he's kind of a tweener. He's really, really good, but he's just not good enough to be somebody to carry the burden of being the best player on a franchise.
I think he's more between a 2 and a 3.
Yeah, well, he's definitely a combo guard, but in terms of where he should be at on a team, right, he should be probably your third option or maybe your first guy off the bench.
Yeah,
they're searching right now, right? They wanted Scoop Henderson to be a star. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. You know, if I tell you that Scoop might end up being a good player, most teams will go, he's going to be a good player. We'll take that. But if you're Portland, you drafted him in a position where you thought he was going to be a great player. And I don't know if he is going to ever be that.
That's a lot of pressure to put on a young player too, to be your number one or the face of a franchise.
Agreed.
I don't know if he gets there, but we'll see. Portland would definitely give him Portland would give him probably the best opportunity to see if he can develop. My Bulls get a win last night, 137-118. Big Vu had a good game last night. I got people from Chicago scolding me because I said, okay, yeah, we beat the Lakers twice, but let's not forget there is a difference between having a good run and being a good team. The Bulls are not a good team. They had a good run. They win games here and there. They're not a good team, and there's a huge difference between the two.
And they're winning games at the time that I call the dog days of the season, right?
Yup.
We're winding down. And so
Yep.
you're going to win a lot of games because a lot of teams are going to sit some of their better players for rest. I think the Bulls winning late in the season and giving their fans, you know what they give their fans? False hope, because they're going to be like, we're one player away. Look what we're doing right now. Like, right? It gives you that
Yep.
they're one player. We're one player away. We're
Yep.
just as good as Detroit.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
And you're not one player away. What you have in Kobe White, because I like Kobe because he's a terrific scorer, and in Josh Giddey, I think you have two really good players that you can put alongside a franchise player. The problem is you're missing the franchise player.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So in other words, by default, those are you two. Those are really good players. But if those are your best players, your record is not that way by accident. Your record's that way because you don't really have a transcendent star to actually build your team around.
Nope.
They haven't really had that kind of player with that kind of impact since Derrick Rose.
Yep.
And they're searching. I think that's why their front office and their scouts a couple of years ago took a swing at Patrick Williams, right? And I think Patrick Williams is a good player. I think you would agree he's a good player. But for where they drafted him, you would have to say he's been a big disappointment.
Disappointment. There's one thing if you would took him where you took Bronny. Okay,
right.
You would have took Bronny. I got you. I'm all for that. But when you drafted him, you expected his impact to be a lot more than what it's been.
Right. When you draft somebody that way in that position, you're thinking he's going to be a franchise changer. If you won 33 games and you draft this guy, you're thinking he's at least worth 10, 15 more wins, right? He's that guy. And what he's turned out to be is more of a complimentary player than a standout player. And that's disappointing for any franchise when you're a lottery pick.
Let me ask you this, going back to the Sun for a quick second. We talked a little bit about this on Sports Report. Kevin Durant's coming up in last year's contract. Kevin Durant gone?
Absolutely. He's absolutely gone. Look, the only mystery with Phoenix is what team is going to be their trade partner and what assets are they going to try to seek and get, for the KD trade. Because people can always point out where he would be a good fit at. What I always tell people, Kevin Durant is a good fit wherever you send him and whatever system. The question is, this is not just Kevin Durant. This is Kevin Durant that's going to be 37 years old.
Yep.
So what do you think someone's going to give you in return for a 37-year-old Kevin Durant? I've heard Houston is an option, and I've heard the Timberwolves there are a lot of teams that are options. But if you're Matt Ishbia, if you're James Jones, what do you think you're going to get in return for Kevin Durant? Even though he's playing at a high level, what he's not able to do right now, you can put him on a really good franchise that's already set up for success, like Houston has tons of talent. But he can't carry a team by himself. He's not that guy anymore. He can't. No. He can be your closer. He can still be a closer, but he needs more around him because he's an older player, and it shows more times than not now. So I know he's leaving. I couldn't tell you where his destination is.
Now, what do you think about Ja Morant? He looks shaky going through his last couple of years of his contract through 2028. What do you think? Do you think he stays in Memphis or he looks for a way to get out?
I think behind the scenes, he might be looking for a way out. Look, Ja still is a terrific basketball player. Let's be clear. But go back a couple of years, Will. I think people were trying to make him the face of the NBA prior to him obviously having the incidents that he had. I don't know right now if he can be the face of your franchise, and I'm talking about what he does on the court. explosive player, charismatic player, not a leader, and I think there's a ceiling to what he can do as a talent. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I keep using the Steve Francis comp because they're very comparable on what they do and what they've done. I don't even think he's the clear best player in that team. I think Jaren Jackson is just as important as he is, if not more important.
Yeah.
And the most consistent player on that team is actually Desmond Bane. So I would look at the Grizzlies and go, when you look at them, they're going to be in the postseason, and you could talk about how deep they are. But I don't know who's the guy. I know who's the guy, the bigger name, but who's the guy? Because I don't think Ja is that guy. And that's weird, right? Because I'm sure other teams would go, we would love to trade for Ja Morant. If you get Ja Morant, how far do you think you can go with him being your best player? Like, he has Derrick Rose-like abilities, but he's not nowhere near as strong as Derrick Rose.
Right.
He doesn't have that kind of strength. He can't, like Derrick Rose could go into contact and finish. Ja's elevates over contact. He didn't go through it. Right. They're completely different players. I feel like he thinks he might be making a move. It wouldn't shock me if this offseason, if Memphis entertains offers for him.
Heading over to the NBA, heading on to NCAA, I should say. All number one seeds in the Final Four, went ahead and advanced. That good? Is that good for college basketball?
Yeah, look, I think there are going to be times when you have these lower seeds make these great runs and it becomes a great story. But if they're all number one seeds, and it's not a secret that they're all very good teams and deserving of being there, and they make it there, like the number one's not disappointing, shouldn't be a disappointment. So I'm good with all four of them being there because they play each other. Do you not expect high level basketball if you're going to play the four best teams? So I'm expecting high level basketball, even though throughout the tournament we can both agree Duke has pretty much ran through everybody. They've ran through everybody. Like no one's pushed them at least into a back and forth one possession game. So they've ran through everybody, but I don't think they're going to run over.
I don't think they run over.
You think they're going to run over Auburn? I don't think they run over Auburn. I think that's going to be. I think that's a competitive basketball game. I think Florida versus Houston is going to be competitive. That's going to be a really physical game. If the referees let them play, I still like Houston.
That's a big if too. A big if too. We don't know what the temperament of the officials are going to be in these games.
Yeah, look, you're right. But that's the style that Houston wins with. They muck it up, they slow down the pace, and they make you grind it out on every possession. But that's their style. That's what fits them. And if the referees are going to allow the contact, I think that bodes well for Houston.
We got a lot going on in NCAAs. It's Auburn versus Florida on the first game, and then we have the second game finishing up with Duke versus Houston. Like I said, I just think I like Cooper Flagg. No different. He's your NCAA player of the year. There's no doubt about that. But I like Houston. I like what they bring to the table. I think Florida clips Auburn in a close one, and to see Houston and Florida go at it, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one. And me and my son are gonna have some arguments because I picked Houston and he picked Florida. So we gonna see.
He picked Florida.
He picked Florida. He picked Florida to win it all.
Look, they're all really good teams, and you can make a case for them. What I would say is, if you just go on talent, I'm talking about talent throughout the roster. I think Duke's the more talented team. But playing style does matter. And it's weird to say this, but they allow more physicality in college basketball than they do in the pros.
They do.
That's kind of crazy to say, but it's a factual thing. They allow a lot more contact. And so if you can muck up a game and make it a little bit more physical, that bodes well for a team like Florida. I think it bodes well for a team like Houston. I don't know if Duke, because Duke hasn't faced that, and I'd be interested to see what Duke can do.
I agree. Matter of fact, the odds makers are saying it looks like it's going to be a Duke versus Florida championship. That'll be a good one too.
No, I understand why the odds maker picked those two teams. If you were just picking by the two teams that you think that are the two best teams, I think it is Duke. I think it is Auburn, but I'm giving Houston a puncher's chance. I pick Houston.
Me too.
I pick Houston to win it all. So I'm not gonna change from that stance. I'd like to see Houston versus Duke.
You getting that?
Oh, I thought Houston was playing.
Houston's playing
Florida.
Duke in the. Houston's playing Duke in the second game, and then the first game is Auburn versus Florida.
Oh well, then Duke season's probably over then.
I just like that Houston team. The athleticism they hit you with. I just like that team. It's just I can't put my one finger on why. I like about it. I just like the overall athleticism. Let's see what happens.
I'm gonna tell you why you like them. They got some dogs on that team.
They do.
They got some dogs on that team that don't fear anybody, and they get after you. They're not a high scoring team, but they've got three guys that shoot over 40% from three, and they get body on body. Like there's gonna be a lot of contact. You don't get the cut back door without somebody rerouting you or impeding your way. I know that doesn't bode well depending on the officiating staff, but I'm going to hope that they let them play, because if they let them play, it's going to be a great game.
Key, what's up, man? Thank you for joining the stream. We appreciate you. The Final Four is going to be good. I got Florida winning. I ain't got nothing wrong. I don't see anything wrong with that. Walton Clayton Jr., yeah, nothing wrong with that.
He's nice. He's nice.
He is nice. Cottrell, thank you for joining the stream. We appreciate you, brother. Don't believe in Duke.
I don't. I mean, I don't. I don't have nothing against them, but I don't think they're going. They're not going to be in a championship game. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I don't think so. Let me ask you this though, real quick, and this is something I meant to ask on Monday. Do you think NIL is ruining some of these mid-major runs?
I think NIL is going to impact everybody, but let's be honest. NIL. If you're going to go, if it's about NIL, who does it favor? Well, it favors the bigger schools, doesn't it?
Yes.
They have the most money. So, yes, it's going to impact mid-majors. But for years, we've talked about how players, all the money and things that they've brought to schools have not been paid for their service. You know what I mean? We said that for years. So I love that NIL exists. And to me, the fact that NIL exists, coaches can't walk into your house now and go, "Oh, hey, I'm Tom Izzo. Come play for me because it's Michigan State and I'm Tom Izzo."
Right.
Now it's like, I feel you, Coach Izzo, and I understand what you've done for Michigan State. Great coach. But what about that NIL thing? So you know what I mean? Like now players are gonna be like, what can you do for me?
That's why your boy Nick Saban left. Just saying. Good morning, Gregor. How you doing? Welcome to the stream.
100%. Nick Saban did not like the idea that he couldn't walk into someone's living room, throw down his national championship rings, and go sign right here and walk away. You know what I mean? Like he used to be able to do that, but NIL
can't do it now, brother.
No, because then Nick was like, now I got to be a salesman. Nick didn't have to be a salesman before. And he didn't like that. And I get that. A lot of old school coaches won't like it. I have no problem with NIL because I think that players should be valued and should get some value at it from the schools. They're bringing in income, right? They're bolstering their schools' income and revenue. So why shouldn't they share in it?
I don't see Izzo being around much longer, but he's a proven coach. And he has the right to call it on his terms. You know, he has a right to call it on his terms when he wants to retire. He shouldn't be forced out, I think, because of everything he's done for that school. He should be able to call his own fate. He should be able to leave when he wants to leave for everything that he did. Let's talk about the women's game real quick. I like South Carolina, but I'm scared. They got Texas. Texas is no slouch.
Look, that's going to be a battle of styles. South Carolina, they're an aggressive team. They get on the boards. They're physical. They play inside-out basketball a lot.
Yes.
But defensively, they can get after you. I just think this: if the game is played at Texas's pace, the game's over. South Carolina, you can't get in a shootout with Texas because they don't have the firepower.
No, no. That's why I'm so concerned about that game. He says they can beat Texas. We can't start slow. This is so true. This is
Yeah,
so true.
absolutely, they can beat Texas, but Texas can be so overwhelming offensively that South Carolina's not built to come from behind. They're not built. You know what I mean? If they're down 15, especially to a team like Texas, it's a walk.
Cottrell said he's got UConn over South Carolina. Look, UCLA is not going to be a slouch either. I don't think they lay down for Gino Auriemma. I really don't think they're going to lay down. That's another game that I'm looking at. That man. And look, the ladies' game has so much improved over the years. And you know who's going to benefit from that is the WNBA.
I think the W is going to benefit from the stars that they're going to get. Paige Buckets is coming. Like they've got some talent that they're going to add to the W. Look, I want to see Paige Buckets make it all the way to the championship game. I don't know if that's going to happen though. I don't know if she's been amazing. And I think that if you look at UConn's team, they're really good, but this is not one of his great teams, right?
No.
He's doing some coaching. I think you could say the same thing. This isn't South Carolina's best team. Don Staley's doing some coaching.
Yes.
So I think these girls, even though they're not the most talented South Carolina team, they reflect Don Staley. I've said all along, I'm rolling with Don Staley until somebody knocks her squad out.
Yep. I agree. Got some baseball news from my man 7. Jackson Morrell and the Padres agreed to a 9 years, 130. Bruh. For real? Okay, here's the thing to be killing me. How old is he, 7? How old is he? Is he going to finish out that contract?
You know he's not.
Killing me with that, man. 9 years at 9 years, 135 mil, and you 33, 32.
Right. So clearly
contract.
Right. So clearly they're what? They're going to get their value out of him the first 3 or 4 years out of the contract.
See how old this man is. Good Lord, that's a lot of money.
Oh, he said he's only 21, Will.
Okay. He'll be all right then. He'll be all right.
He's 21.
He'll be 30. He'll be 30 and can get another deal.
Bro, you got like 14 years if you can stay healthy.
Yeah. He can get 9 years and get another deal. All right, cool. Let me go through the rest of this chat here, get caught up. Although Booker for Texas is one of the best in the country. Yeah.
Facts.
Texas did get them in the regular season. Yeah, UCLA will not lay down. That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough out. Only 135 mil. Only.
I mean, it's funny to say that, but 135 million. When you look at the numbers that get thrown around in baseball, that's a bargain deal. Like that's almost like getting a hometown discount because. Look, we're seeing 300, 400, 500, 700. Like the numbers are insane.
That's what, if my math is right, that's what, 15 mil a year?
That's light money in baseball. That's light.
Yeah. That's like 15 mil a year. I see what Cottrell came up with that. That's a steal. Yeah. Man. But I'm looking forward to the field of 64 on both sides of the house. How's your bracket looking?
So
mine is
shot overall, but I guess in the bigger picture, if I pick Houston to win and they end up winning, I've got that going for me. So, but overall, I'm gonna smashed.
Trash. Mine is just it's so trash. It's so freaking trashed.
Let me ask you a question, Will, real quick.
Sure.
With Paige Beckers in this draft class coming into the W,
Mm-hmm.
The W is getting ready to go into their CBA negotiations. and obviously there already been talk about holding out. Where are you on what the players should do or what they should expect? Because look, they just had one of their biggest seasons, maybe their biggest season ever, and they still were 40 million in the red. You know what I'm
Issue.
saying? Like, I
Yeah,
guess the
yeah.
question is, if you're the players, you come to the owners and you say, this is what we want, and we want to get paid this, and we want all these things. If you're the owner, aren't the owners going to go like, yeah, the product's terrific, but we're 40 million in the red. What do you expect to get in return?
I don't understand why you will hold out in this particular situation. Your game is at the highest peak it's been since the league's inception. Um, it shouldn't be a case where you're holding out. It should be a case you move forward to continue to make your game better,
Right.
continue to close that gap to being in the red to being profitable. Because at 40, it was worse at one point. And you're just down to 40 million. A little bit more promotion of your stars.
Yeah.
Hopefully you will get a healthy Juju. Prayers up for Juju Watkins from hopefully you recover from your injury
Right.
to come in. But you have no business holding out.
No, I think Cottrell makes a good point. What they're saying is we just come off our biggest season. So we're playing with house money in terms of what we just came off of. And I'm pro player. Let me put it out there. I am pro player, but I'm trying to be practical from this standpoint. They don't have the power, right? You can hold out and you can say, look how our game is growing. Look at the fans. Look at our attendance. I'm not arguing any of those things. It's up. But for them to make a profit, because if you're an owner, Will, you're not in it to not make a profit, right?
Exactly.
And so the problem is the owner's response is going to be like, I understand what you guys are saying. I appreciate you. We absolutely need you. The game is growing, but you're demanding bigger salaries. We understand that. But at a time where we're still 40 million in the red overall, how do I swing that? So I think the negotiations are going to be tough. And you know how this works. At best, they'll meet in the middle. But 9 times out of 10, it's always leaning towards the owners. Look at the NBA, which is obviously much more global,
Yes.
brings in a lot more revenue. It's not even close.
Yes.
And when they go to the negotiation tables, they repeatedly take L's.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, like, I hope the ladies and owners can meet somewhere in the middle, but I don't know how much further they're going to elevate their salaries, considering they're in it to make money.
With the newly TV deal, they're going to be in the black for the first time, but the players can't mess that up. So true.
That's my point, though.
So true.
And that's Anthony brings up a good point, but so the TV deal makes a big difference. So you can't go into negotiations and overreach, right?
Right.
That's all I'm saying. You have to be a little bit practical, and because what they don't want to do, Will, is stop the momentum that they built.
And I'm not. And before people say I'm trying to count their pockets, I'm not trying to count their pockets. But you have to. But you have to look at the. You have to look at the. You have to look at the bigger picture. At the end of the day, if you want to make this league profitable, continue on your current pace. You will get there. You will get there eventually to where you can get the money that you want. But look at the bigger picture for right now and move forward. Is all I will ever say in this situation. Now, once they're out of the red, 20, 30, 40, 50 million over whatever, go back to the table. And then you can negotiate at that point.
Look, and I understand it because when you look at the W, they put out an outstanding product. Let's put it out there. If you're really a hoop fan, I'm just talking about just basketball. I'm not talking about men's or women, but just basketball. The women's game is more fundamental than the man's game.
It is.
Particularly
now.
That's just facts. It's more fundamentally sound than the man's game.
Yep.
So look, the players put out a great product. And I think what I would say to the owners is, okay, so you're not going to put in a lot of numbers in towards of building up salaries, But what we need you guys to do is put millions and hundreds of millions into promotion, right? If I'm the players, I need you to invest even more into us and the product, right? Put more shine on the individual players, put more shine on the overall product.
Yep.
Because then these ladies can get more. They can get more revenue through commercials and other things and advertisements. Like there's a window there. And what I love about the W is a lot of their stars, they've already bought into what they can do on social media. There's so many other ways to generate revenue and put themselves out there and to bolster the league. I'm with Cottrell in that if you're a billionaire, you should be able to figure it out because obviously you're a billionaire, so you must have some idea of how to make money. So I just think they have a great product. I don't want them to go to the table and overreach and it end up being a lockout.
These girls should not be making less than 6 figures. They don't need to be playing overseas to pay bills, but things need to stay reasonable. So true. And I do agree with that.
I think we need Anthony. I think Anthony needs to be like a mediator.
Yeah.
Anthony makes some really sound points, and that's the kind of where I'm at. I think they need a mediator to kind of get them to meet somewhere in the middle.
At least for this part of the negotiation period, when you get more profitable, you meet at the table again, and then we can discuss. But I definitely think they're definitely in the right direction. The game's getting better, so definitely keep things going and come to a mid ground for everybody. Because it's not like you don't have marketable players. You got A'ja Wilson there, who's been silent but can be marketable. You Caitlin Clark, as much as I criticize her, Angel Reese can be marketable. So you do have players there. Cameron Brink, who I love to death, can be marketable. So
Paige Buckets is coming in.
Yep.
You just brought up we get a healthy Juju in another year or so.
Yep.
It does matter. And Cottrell brings up a great point. $228,000 for the highest paid is insane.
That's crazy.
Think about this. Joker is the best player in the NBA, but he's paid accordingly. A'ja Wilson makes $228,000. That's kind of crazy.
As accomplished as she is,
right?
As much as she's done in the league.
Now, everything we all just said is true. I'm telling you where the pushback's going to be. Yes, Joker makes that much more than A'ja. Their league also makes 10 times more, maybe 20 times more than we do, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's an angle that both sides going to come from, and I think that Anthony's solution is better. The salaries should come up, but they need to not overreach.
Tony says, Seven says, sign me up. I just want to meet Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson. Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you. I mean, if you want to meet I still say Caitlin Clark look like Elliot Stabler from Law and Order, but I get you. I got you.
You're harsh man. I would not.
Terrible.
I would not. I will not concur on that.
I'll put the side by side for you later.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Not Elliot Stabler, man. Come on.
I'm telling you, man. She look just like him. I'm telling you.
Look, just a disclaimer. The views of Will does not express everybody from Wire to Wire Network.
Yeah.
It's Will's own opinion.
Oh my goodness. Juju would be the first $1 contract. You know what? I don't doubt that though. I don't doubt that. Her talent is just before she got hurt, she was doing it big. I would not be surprised.
I just want her to come back 100%. And we put it out there. If she has to miss her junior year to be fully healthy,
go and miss it.
For her senior year,
go and miss it.
Go on and miss it. Yes. Yep. She's got to think about not just her long-term health, but her long-term career aspirations.
Oh yeah. Got to think about the bigger picture. And that's always what it's all about, the bigger picture.
Right.
Life is all the bigger picture. All right, let's move over to the NFL very, very quickly. It looks like we're getting rid of the chain game in the NFL. It looks like first downs will be called more on a virtual basis. Um, do you think that's right? Are we getting rid of the chain game?
I feel like a lot of times the NFL they do make changes that are for the better of the league, and you're trying to move with the times. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but don't you can see where if you rely so much on technology, where that could be controversial, right? What if the virtual thing has a hiccup or a bug or whatever, and it costs somebody just shy of the yard they need? I'm just putting it out there, right?
Right.
That's sometimes you get there are aspects that elevate the game, and then there's a really simple aspects that have been working for years. And my mindset is if it's not broke, don't fix it.
I agree. I agree. And it looks like now that it came out, I believe it was yesterday, earlier this week, that the Cleveland Browns admitted their mistake on Deshaun Watson, said it was a hit and a miss. So it
Well,
was a hit and a miss.
so we talked about this yesterday, and obviously Cottrell is a big Cleveland guy, and he had strong opinions on it. Look, all I'm gonna say is they thought they were getting the kid that was just coming off a 33 touchdown, I think 7 picks, 4,800-yard season, right?
Mhm.
I do understand that. And the reason why they thought that was, and the reason why they were willing to overlook his baggage, they thought that's what they were getting, right? But then he gets injured. And when he does come back, he doesn't look even like a shadow of that player, right? And I feel like Deshaun Watson's problems now, they're not all physical. I would argue that they're mental. I think they're as much mental as they are physical. His confidence is shot. You could make a case that Deshaun Watson has become the Ben Simmons of the NFL. He's not remotely anywhere near the player he once was, and there's no signs that player is ever returning.
Yeah. And it's coming off a bad shoulder, now an Achilles. They really don't have any assets they can use. You got your draft pick coming up. I don't know what they're going to do there. That's going to be interesting to see.
Everybody says draft a quarterback. I truly understand that, but sometimes it's okay to draft the best player.
You know what I see them doing, and people may call me dumb for this. I see them trading that pick for more assets. Is what I see them doing. Let Kenny Pickett start. You just got Pickett from the Eagles. Let Kenny Pickett start, which wouldn't be bad because the only thing he's going to do is manage the game and hand it off anyway. So let him manage and then go get you some more because you need a lot. I mean, you can strengthen that defense. You can get some wide receivers. You need receivers. You need a running back because Nick Chubb ain't getting no younger or any healthier. I can see them actually trading back.
I could see that, but I'm kind of with Cottrell that I would love it if they took Travis Hunter. That's I think that's another great player that can impact your franchise. And certainly he's going to be in some packages on the offense because he's an electric player with the football in his hands. So I do like the Travis Hunter idea. I would rather go Travis Hunter than the quarterback.
Yeah. Key says you're right. I just think let me see what Tony said real quick. Yeah, you do have a better class of quarterback coming in next year. This is true. In your next draft, that's true.
That's facts. That it is a better draft class next season. But if you're a Browns fans, how confident are you if Kenny Pickett starts? Because I would not be that confident. And really, I don't think I would have let Jameis out the door until I was resolute in who I was bringing in, right? Because we know that Jameis is much better than Kenny Pickett. So and look, I know with Jameis is a roller coaster, but at least it's a roller coaster. With Kenny Pickett, it's more like free fall.
Oh my goodness. But they are great defense, great defensively within in a team with a division with a bunch of great defenses. They're gonna hold their own right off the rip. But quarterback play is an issue. Um, Let me ask you about this sticking to AFC. It looks like Harbaugh from the Ravens is getting a extension. Do you think that extension is in the right spot, being that he has yet to win with Lamar?
Look, he's been a terrific coach for a long time.
Yes.
But you do bring up a point. The Ravens have been favored to win the Super Bowl, what, maybe three? They've been one of the favorites the last, what, 3 or 4 years? And every year Lamar's won the MVP. What have we said? The Ravens are the team to beat. I think Harbaugh is a good coach, but I think that if you look at his overall record and what he's done, shouldn't we treat Harbaugh a lot like the way we treat Mike Tomlin? If you question Mike Tomlin and his shortcomings, shouldn't you question Harbaugh because he's had the same failings, but he's working with a lot more talent?
True.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
You've had the MVP multiple times. You added Derrick Henry to that MVP. Your offensive numbers are through the roof, and you get to the postseason again, and you flatline. The year before, everybody just knew a weakened Kansas City team. You guys were elite on both sides of the football, and you flatline again because the Chiefs out-tough you. I'm not trying to say I blame that on coaching. Here's the difficult part. What did Cottrell say? He's really not much different than Kyle Shanahan. Right, look. I'm glad you brought that up, Cottrell.
That's hard to disagree.
No, but that's a great point. The difference is he does have the one Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
Right. And it's kind of like I don't want to go too far. I don't want to drift, but it's very similar to the Doc Rivers thing in the NBA.
Ooh,
because
true.
the first thing people point out is Doc's a champion. Like Doc, right? But that was in 2008. That's a long time ago.
I still say him and Sean Payton got more off that one ring than anybody in almost coaching history.
Yeah, and look, to Cottrell's point, I think Harbaugh, who is a good coach, has milked his championship for a long time.
Yeah.
If Lamar is everything that we project and people say that he is, how have you not gotten to a Super Bowl? I'm not even saying won it, but how have you not even gotten to a Super Bowl?
Right. With a generational talent, and let's keep it a buck. Lamar is a generational talent. Lamar is.
He is a generational talent, but at the same time, it's really interesting because the position of quarterback, what we found out because of Lamar and guys like Cam, the position can be played in a lot of different ways. What Lamar's not going to do in a postseason game, or at least he's failed to do in a postseason game, is pick you apart from the pocket.
Yeah.
I'm just being real. He's a terrific quarterback, but he does it in a different way, and I've yet to see that style win a Super Bowl.
Todd Monken screwed the Ravens more than an emo chick with a bird fed it.
and like I said, don't you compound it because Henry has a 1,900-yard season.
Yep.
And everything came to a halt in the postseason.
No way in the world that man don't get the football 25, 30 times a game.
Right.
No
and the thing
way
is,
in the world.
30 times a game, Will, is at a minimum because you can stop him, 90-yard touchdown. Right. You have to give him the ball 30 times to be committed to that because he's better late in the game, even more. The more you run him. I thought they gave up on the running game real early.
Oh, yeah. Facts. All right, everybody. As we close down here, Coffee Sports in the Morning on Water Wild Sports Network, I want to say thank you for everybody being here. I do appreciate everybody in the chat. Appreciate Mo for coming through. Okay, Mo, go ahead and finish us up for this morning.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Make sure you check out all the great content we have at Wire to Wire Network. Wire to Wire Network. We appreciate you.
What did he say? Lamar just seems to have this Peyton Manning moment and get over the hump.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Right now, he's looking a lot like Peyton. They're different quarterbacks, but right now Lamar looks like the greatest regular season quarterback ever.
Facts. All right, everybody. That's gonna do it for us here. Coffee and Sports in the Morning, Wire Wire Sports. I'm William Morgan. That's my man Mo Better. We'll be back again tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.